Alrighty, time for the submission run for Mulaka 80%, 32-minute estimates. This is an indie game developed by a Mexican studio called Lienzo, which is the Spanish word for an artist's canvas. Kind of a good name for a studio, I should think. We do speedruns on Profile 2 for a reason that will become clear at the very tail end of the run. For now, let's just get started. 3, 2, 1, go. So everything about this game is meant to be a celebration of the Tarahumara or Raramuri people. They are the indigenous peoples of northern Mexico who are known for running exceptional distances, hundreds of miles at a time, without the use of any modern equipment. And actually, the little loading screen tidbits often cite an author named Christopher McDougall. Yeah, there's a Christopher McDougall quote right there, who did extensive study with them. We just did our first skip by entering the Ring of Stones to spawn an otherwise forced fight. We pull up the map and warp to the level we're already in, the only level available at this point in the game, and it spawns us after the fight. It doesn't actually despawn the fight. You could, if you for some bizarre reason wanted to, backtrack into the Ring of Stones again and it would spawn the fight as normal. But we're going fast. So you see that rock face up there with the 3 hollows carved into it. There's one of those in every level. I call them stone gates. They're supposed to block your progression, but we won't go through any of them the way we're supposed to. And the way you're supposed to is by collecting these 3 stones from the surrounding area that fit into those hollows, and once they're all 3 there, the stone gate dissipates and falls away. But we won't go through any of them the way we're supposed to. A couple of them we won't even see. And we're already off to our first boss. In many ways, this game plays similarly to modern Zelda titles. It's not quite as item-intensive, but the levels are all, discrete and self-contained, like Zelda's dungeons. And the bosses at the end of them all have a certain gimmick to them. This one, I'm not ashamed to say it took me a little time in my first playthrough to figure this guy out, but... And actually there is an NPC that tells you how to fight this guy too. You're in an arena with a lot of pillars, and the boss has a hard shell on his back, so what do? You lead him into the pillars. You'll notice I'm also attacking his leg sheets. This is... I believe it does damage him a little, but it's more about building up your finisher meter, which we'll see in just a moment. In fact, this is the only time in the game where the finisher lives up to its name. Finish off these leg sheets. You really have to get all 6 legs to get as much progress towards the finisher bar as you want. And it is important to hit the pillars in the order I hit them, because if you go to one of the outer pillars too early, you can even see it here, his legs will be submerged under the geometry and he can't attack the sheets. So there we have the finisher. We fire it off, and the boss is dead. And now, because we didn't pause over the course of the level, we can just pull up the map and warp to the next one. Otherwise, we'd have to wait out the boss's death animation, and the demigod cutscene to spawn in, which you can mash through anyway, but obviously it's faster not to have it spawn in at all. Here we are now in the great city of Pakime. We're off to acquire the bomb potion. Now, the way this game kind of plays like a Zelda, explosives are very important. That's not quite the fanciest way to get into this area, but pretty close. And then we will hopefully not take too many tries to clip through this wall to get out of here. This is the newest skip in the game. I really don't understand how it works at all yet. I just kind of spin at the wall and hope for the best. There we go. That was about average. Doing it that way skips 2 cutscene triggers you would otherwise hit by blowing up the wall leading into that the area leading to the Chia Garden, which is how you're supposed to get out. Now, coming up here, you will notice I pull up my bomb reticle, select a different potion, and then throw the bomb. That makes me dupe bombs. I have only 1 bomb, but I can use it infinitely unless I mess up. Here we have our second boss, the Mantis General. He will eventually spawn ads later in the fight, so First thing you want to do is push him towards the edge of the arena. I did not quite push him far enough. The purpose of doing that is so he will be a little bit further away from the ads once they spawn in. The strat's pretty simple. You just pepper him with duped bombs. It's okay if you lose a soul there, because you get your first heal potion for free, and I thought I had a finisher banked up, but I didn't. Now I do. I will let that go in his face. It may or may not kill him. It did. Good. That was not a bad fight. We have a moment here before the bear demigod statue spawns in, so we'll pick some more plants. A safety bomb just in case we mess up a dupe. And I like to be on 3 heals, but you can't really target the plants you want to pick, so it can be a little imprecise. Here's our next area, Risorikubi, the cave by the lake, or river, rather. Or the river by the cave. I don't speak the Tarahumara language, but that is essentially what this area is. A little pathing on those rocks to get to here. We fly up to here. Oh, by the way, we can fly now. It's not sustained flight. You can soar. You can hover. You do gain a little height by doing it, but it's not really sustained flight. And that's a pretty good clip to get into this area. Yeah, the bird you morph into is the ivory-billed woodpecker. A beautiful creature that sadly was recently declared extinct. That was not great, but where we need to be. Double jump off the apex of the nose, if you will, of the snake statue. Now we are up here, and we are way the heck out of bounds, and we are already on our way to the next boss. There's a visual Easter egg up here, suggesting the developers actually planned for players to come up here, which, I don't know, maybe. The visual Easter egg up here is Iki, the protagonist of Lienzo's first game, Hunter's Legacy. I've played that game. I don't like it nearly as much. I actually gave it a negative review on Steam, which kind of hurt my soul to do, because Lienzo are some lovely people, and this game is amazing. They also have a new game coming out in Q1 of 2022 called Aztec. T-E-C-H, Tech, Aztec, Forgotten Gods. I played the demo of it that was available for the Steam something or other Jeff Keighley festival thing. It had a name, I'm sure. And, well, let's just say I can see why the game was delayed a little. It was originally going to come out in 2021. Oh, I'm thinking this is the second phase of the fight. But I'm sure everything will be fine with that game when it does release. So we dupe bombs at the mouths on this thing. You can ideally, and I did there on the last one, take out as many as 3 at once, as opposed to tossing your spear, which can really only ever take out 1. There's another triple. That's pretty good. I honestly don't know how you're quote-unquote supposed to fight this thing. It's another triple. Pretty good fight. And it's spawning some invisible enemies now, but as long as I get that last mouth, everything's fine. Four heals should be plenty. I really won't heal, even in a marathon-esque run, until the final boss. And even then, maybe not at all. Off to the next level. Now this level is full of, like, intricate wind puzzles where you're supposed to fly in certain directions with the bird and flip switches and turn on various fans, and we're not doing any of that. We're just flying through the stone gate and going straight to the boss. Say hello to Froggo. Shaking is bad RNG. There's Basically 4 moves he can do in this fight. This is the one you want him to do. Sucking in the water. Shaking is nothing but a time loss. So, he does... Okay. Alright. Yeah. This is how you make him vulnerable. When he starts sucking in water, you do the bear transformation to shoot the fish skeleton into his mouth. That makes him lull his tongue out. We do a specific damage cycle to him. And you do that 5 times and that's the fight. It's pretty simple. Jumping is okay, because jumping usually segues into the suck, which is the move we want him to do. The other thing he can do is stomp. So if you have the fish skeleton super close to him, you don't even have to do the bear transformation. He'll just suck it up on his own. That's one of the ways I've noticed the world record holder for this game, Pedrogas. That's one of the really elite time saves in his run that I can sometimes do, definitely not regularly. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Probably jump suck? Yep. So you saw me move the fish skeleton a little bit there. If I had not, and if the boss had landed on it, it would have destroyed it. Another one would have spawned it in its place, somewhere in the arena. There's always 2 available, but I didn't know, I wouldn't have known where it was. So it was very helpful to keep the one that I knew where it was. He's actually not shaking all that much in this fight. Probably gonna jump and suck. Okay, jump usually segues into suck. This is a pretty good fight. This is probably the most RNG-dependent fight in the run. And that was pretty good. Sometimes he'll just shake 8, 9, 10, 12 times, and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially later in the fight, he'll shake off... We didn't see any in that fight, which is good. He'll shake off large... small... I mean, he's a large frog. Gray frogs. Gray frogs that are larger than the green frogs, and they can actually swallow you briefly, so getting hit by those is not a good idea. Getting hit by the small green frogs is not a big deal at all. Alright. So this level has a mini-boss in addition to the full-on boss. We do need to kill it because it awards a transformation, an animal transformation, that is quite necessary for the completion of the game. We did skip a potion in the previous level, which is sort of cool, that the game expects you to have. This is the Rage Potion from Korn. This is the only time we use it. Hopefully this staggers him. Nope. Yeah, anytime he burrows underground, it's not a good fight. Yeah, this is a pretty bad fight. But we got through it. There's nothing really to do here. You just wait for the Puma Demigod statue. We will trigger the cutscene. Whenever it says game saved on the bottom of the screen, that's when you know you're safe to pull up the map and warp away. At that moment, you have been granted the Demigod transformation. We're about to use it here to skip to the full boss of this level. There we go. That took a couple extra tries, but it's alright. We clip through an invisible wall there. Gonna do it again here. Ah. Tried to show off a minor strat there that didn't quite work. Head back to the back edge of the stone gates to trigger the boss's AI and to trigger the red boss to enter the arena at all. Before this point, the blue and the green bosses would just stand there and do nothing. And you couldn't even harm them either. They would be transparent. Their models wouldn't even have collision. Okay, this is not quite going to plan. The red one has the most HP, and oh, this is not going according to plan. The blue one is still alive. Okay, that was a rough fight. But we survived. Yeah, the main effect of the Puma transformation is to, like, leap forward in midair. And you're supposed to use it to climb on plants that appear in various places. And there are a couple of times we'll do it the way we're supposed to. Use it the way we're supposed to. But mostly we use it for clipping through invis walls. Like, this is a pretty small time save here, but every little bit helps. Take the save point, because, I don't know, maybe we want to finish later. We're done for the day. No, it sets your spawn there after an upcoming fight. Here's another good use of the Puma transformation. By doing it in midair before you land, it tells the game that that's the elevation you fell from, and it can skip the high fall stagger animation, which saves about a second each time. Do some more bomb duping in this fight to just take everybody out really quick. Next phase is little scorpions. You don't really need bombs to deal with them. They're little. They don't have much health, and they're hard to target. That was decent. Okay, we have our finisher. It is for this guy. Without a finisher, he is very annoying to take down and kill. He does an attack that can paralyze you while he swoops down and does pretty substantial damage to you. It's very annoying. This guy dies in a bomb and a Puma, or 2 bombs or 2 Pumas. Obviously, one of each is fastest. So that's the Sea Snake Demigod statue. Towards the Sea Snake transformation. The primary use of the Sea Snake transformation is to use it to cross bodies of water. We will never use it for that. Alright, here's a really silly skip. This will I have no idea. I assume Pedrogas found this, the world record holder. This was in the route before I started running. I actually found the bomb duping glitch. Pretty proud of that. And the wall clip by the bomb area. But this, I would never have found. We're onto an area that has collision. Most of the out-of-bounds areas in this game do. Not all of them, but most. Another invis wall clip to get back in bounds. This guy hopefully will go down in 3 cycles. He's got a bit of an AI. If you stay by his back right leg and don't take damage, he tends not to do attacks we don't want him to do. We make him vulnerable, and then we dupe bombs in his face. It should only take 3 cycles. 333 is the correct health to have there. exactly what we want him to do. Oh, yeah, the sea snake transformation can also freeze vines, which, you know, you can't kill this boss without doing that, so that is one intended use of it we will do. 160? 160, very good. There is definitely some unintended use of the sea snake transformation that you will see in the next level. This is exactly how this fight is supposed to go. Yeah, that was a perfect fight. One unintended thing the sea snake can do is just sort of climb up the geometry. Hardest skip in the game coming up. I need to get across this gap. Oh, by my toenails, I made it. I didn't think that was going to make it. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's easy to do that skip if you have upgrades. Doing it without the upgrades requires falling a little bit as the human, by coming out of the bird morph. You gain forward momentum while doing that, whereas when you go back into the bird, you gain just a little bit of height. So it takes some really precise timing, definitely takes some practice to get that one down. But it's doable. Wait for mana to refill most of the way here. Climb up again as the sea snake. So I had a little bit more mana than I needed to. Drop down here, clip through the invis wall. Puma again to set it. That might still be too high, yeah. And this is the second to last boss, the city-sized turtle, basically. This is Gano. And he has these glowing weak points. There are 12 of them. They always light up in the same order. And you can break them with 2 bombs, 3 tosses of your spear, or a heck of a lot of melee swings. Bombs are definitely fastest, but as the fight goes on, he gets more and more squirrely. His bombs become hard to aim. The next one is down on ground level. It is his left foreleg, or right foreleg, rather. And the rest are all on his back. There's the Puma climb on the, like, flowers on his back. He's gonna start being a bit of a jumpy boy. Yeah, when he starts getting squirrely like this, that's when I start favoring the spear tosses because they're much easier to aim. The game has a pretty robust lock-on. Honestly, this has not been a bad fight. Until now. But I still didn't fall completely off. So we might be able to save this. Nope. All I have to do is hit the finisher towards that last weak point, and that would have been it, but 2 different times, it hit me right as I was about to hit it, so that's unfortunate. However, it is also something that's happened in my last 2 PB pace runs that made it this far. So I'm very used to it. Calm down, dude! Yeah. And once he does finally calm down, he becomes your friend. It gives you the power to survive in the underworld, which is where we are now headed. This is the final boss coming up. Remember how I said we do runs on Profile 2? It's because this game is supposed to end with a boss rush. But if you clear it on one of the other profiles, and naturally I use Profile 1 for my first playthrough, if you clear it on one of the other profiles, the game thinks it's cleared on all of them. To tell you the truth, I don't love this kind of skip, but it's in the run, so we do it. This, however, is the kind of skip I love. You fly into the hitbox for that cutscene. I love skips like that. There's another one that I usually can't get. I was about to say can't get in PB-paced runs, but didn't get it at all there. You can hop on top of that rock face that I just destroyed with the bear transformation and not have to ride the elevator up. It's pretty precise. Not ridiculously difficult, but pretty precise. And it actually occurs to me now I haven't said a thing about the story of this game. The story of this game is basically the Tarahumara creation myth. It seems like the most basic story in the world. Oh, a great evil has overtaken the land. The hero must go slay the evil. But it really is the Tarahumara creation myth. And the creature names, which I, for the most part, haven't even tried to pronounce, that appear at the top of the screen, are based on the Tarahumara tradition. As is the level geometry, it looks like actual areas in northern Mexico, as is the music. It's played on instruments that are indigenous to northern Mexico, so it's really authentic. It's one of the things I love about this game. The first two phases of the fight with the final boss, you just kind of go counterclockwise with the swipies under his armpit, and then do a Puma transformation when he exposes his weak points. You're gated on how much damage you can do at one time. Nothing does as much damage as a Puma transformation, not even Duke bombs. And of course the Tarahumara are the people who run. Run. I wonder if that was meant to be specifically reflected in this fight, because as long as you keep running, you're basically safe. It's when you stop that you're in danger. I'll pop a heal, because I'm scared. The only remotely safe time to heal in this fight is right after you've hit the boss's weak point. Yeah. Kind of don't want to lead him on a merry chase like that. That was not ideal. You do kind of want to go around him rather than just straight away from him. Ideally, you would do it just like the first two phases, counterclockwise with the swipes. Okay, the barf. This is interesting. You just run into the muck, and it does a little damage to you, but it also despawns it immediately. And in this case, instantly shows the boss's weak point. I think I only have one left, yeah. So we're on pace for a pretty good run. I know my estimate is 32, but my threshold for a pretty good run is anything sub 30. My PB is 27.51, which at the time was a huge outlier. I've gotten a few 28 cents, and a handful of 29s. When I got that 27, my previous PB was 30.38. Looks like this might be a high 28, low 29, which is not bad at all for a no reset run. And still run into the barf, even if it takes a soul, which I don't think it will. Yeah, even if it takes a soul, it's worth doing. I should be dead. 28.45 is not bad at all for a no reset run. So just a little bit in post-game here. The cutscene we skipped there is the great Tarahumara god telling Mulaka that this world must be destroyed, but because of the bravery and integrity and honesty that Mulaka has shown, that's actually the name of the character if you didn't know, that his people, implied to be humanity itself, are granted a place in the new world that the gods will be making. Hence how this is the Tarahumara creation myth. And you hear this man speaking the Tarahumara language. It actually pops up several times throughout the game. We just skip him, of course. because we can in all other cases. You actually can't here. I don't know if you can hear me mashing away. Start again. The last image in the game that we have is Mulaka entering this great new world. It's so good. And there's a slightly interactive credit sequence that I love too. You become the bird again, with no time limit, and you just fly through the credits. It's so lovely. The game keeps track in the lower right how many letters you fly through. I believe it's 101 if you don't touch anything. And I've gotten to know some of these people through the Lienzo Discord. Really, really lovely bunch of people. Can't wait for Aztec. Wish them all the best in the world. And yeah, that is Mulaka.